Hello students, this is Dr. Chetna Kumawat. In today's lecture, we will understand activity or efficiency ratios. The funds of creditors and owners are invested in various assets to generate sales and profits. The better the management of these assets, the larger the amount of sales. Activity ratios enable the firm to know how efficiently these assets are employed by it. These ratios indicate the speed with assets are being converted or turned over into sales. Hence, these ratios are also known as turnover ratios or assets management ratios. While calculating these ratios, a comparison is made between sales and investment in various assets such as stock, debtors, fixed assets, etc. As such, an activity ratio is the relationship between sales or cost of goods sold and investment in various assets of the firm. It is important to note that these ratios are always expressed as turnover or in numbers of times, that is, rate of turning over or rotation, also known as velocity. Several activity ratios can be calculated to judge the effectiveness of assets utilization. The following are the important and widely used ratios. The first one is inventory or stock turnover ratio. Meaning and computation. There exists direct relationship between inventory and profit in a business. Therefore, a firm must have reasonable stock in comparison to sales. The quantity of stock should be sufficient to meet the demand of the business, but it should not be too large to indicate unnecessary locking up of capital in stock, danger of stock items becoming obsolete, and resulting in waste by passing of time. The inventory or stock turnover ratio is calculated to consider the adequacy of the quantum of capital and its justification for investing in inventory. Inventory turnover ratio normally establishes the relationship between cost of sales and average inventory. The stock turnover ratio can be calculated by applying the following formula: cost of goods sold or sales divided by average inventory at cost. It is always better to calculate turnover ratio on the basis of cost of goods sold. If information regarding cost of goods sold is not available, only then the sales figure should be used as base. Cost of goods sold in different conditions may be calculated as follows. In the case of trading concern, cost of goods sold will be opening stock plus purchase plus direct expenses minus closing stock. In the case of manufacturing concerns, cost of goods sold will be production cost plus opening stock of finished goods minus closing stock of finished goods. Production cost will be calculated as raw material consumed plus labor cost plus direct expenses plus manufacturing overhead expenses. In all cases where gross profit is known, cost of goods sold will be sales minus gross profit. Average stock or inventory may be calculated with the help of opening and closing inventory of the year using the following formula: opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2. Stock velocity. The inventory turnover ratio indicates the stock velocity with which stock moves through the business. The stock velocity can be calculated by using the following formula: number of days or months in a year divided by stock turnover ratio or average stock divided by cost of goods sold into number of days or months in a year. Mostly yearly opening and closing stock figures are given. If monthly figures are available, then calculation of average stock will be as follows: opening stock plus 12 monthly figures minus closing stock divided by 13. Interpretation and significance. This ratio reveals the number of times finished stock is turned over during a given accounting period in relation to sales. It also indicates whether investment in inventory is within proper limit or not. Therefore, a high inventory turnover ratio is better than a low ratio. A high ratio reflects efficient business activities and is an indication of underinvestment in inventory. The quantum of inventory remains low due to high inventory turnover, and it adversely affects the ability of the firm to meet customers' demand. On the contrary, a low ratio reflects dull business, overinvestment in inventory, wrong valuation of stock, and stock of unsaleable and obsolete goods. The inventory turnover ratio is also an index of profitability, as a high ratio indicates more profits. Debtors or receivables turnover ratio. Meaning and computation. Receivables normally include debtors and bills receivables and represent the uncollected portion of credit sales. If a firm is not able to collect its debtors within a reasonable time, its funds are unnecessarily tied up in receivables. Therefore, to know how far the firm is successful in realizing the credit, debtors or receivables turnover ratio is calculated. This ratio establishes the relationship between net credit sales and average receivables of the year. The formula used for its calculation is as follows: net credit sales divided by average receivables, in which debtors and bills receivables both are collected. Average receivables can be calculated as opening debtors and bills receivables plus closing debtors and bills receivables divided by 2. Components. Credit sales means all credit sales minus sales returns. If information about credit sales is not available, the figures of total sales may be assumed to be the credit sales. Debtors and bills receivables which arise out of credit sales should only be considered. While calculating this ratio, the full amount of bills discounted, which creates liabilities, should be included, and provisions for bad and doubtful debts should not be deducted, because it may give an impression that some amount of receivables has been collected. If the data relating to opening and closing balances of debtors and receivables are not available, the receivables at the end of the year may be considered for computing this ratio. Interpretation and significance. This ratio indicates the number of times the receivables are turned over in a year in relation to sales. It shows how quickly debtors are converted into cash. For example, in our illustration, a turnover of 13 signifies that debtors get converted into cash 13 times in a year. A higher debtors turnover ratio shows the efficiency in collection from debtors, that is, debtors are being collected more promptly. On the contrary, lower ratio indicates inefficiency of management in collection of payment against credit sales in times or payments by debtors are delayed. It is difficult to set up a standard for this ratio. It depends upon the policy of the management and the nature of the industry. To judge the effectiveness of this ratio, it should be compared with the ratio in the previous period or with the ratio of other firms doing similar business. Number 3, average collection period. Meaning and computation. This ratio is in fact interrelated with and dependent upon debtors turnover ratio. Average collection period means the number of days over which debtors and bills receivables remain uncollected. This period can be calculated by any of the following formula. Average collection period is equals to total or average receivables including debtors and bills receivables divided by credit sales per day. Credit sales per day will be calculated as net credit sales divided by 365 or 360. Average collection period can also be calculated by dividing total average receivables with net credit sales and multiplying it by number of months or days in a year. Average collection period can also be calculated by months or days in a year dividing by debtors turnover ratio. Interpretation and significance. An average collection period or debtors velocity, say of 2 months, implies that debtors are collected in 60 days. It measures the quality of debtors because it indicates the rapidity or slowness in the collection process. A shorter collection period implies prompt payment by the debtors, while a longer period reflects delay in payments by debtors. Fast recovery is the indication of good debtors and less probability of bad and unrecoverable debts. On the other hand, delay in recovery of debts in a business indicates increase in the amount of bad debts, negligence and inefficiency of management or relaxation in credit terms. In order to measure the efficiency of the credit collection department, this period should be compared with the average of the industry or with the credit period normally allowed by other firms. Number 4, creditors or payable turnover ratio. Meaning and computation. Firms from whom goods and services are purchased on credit are known as creditors, and the bills accepted in lieu of credit purchase are called bills payable. The creditors and the bills payable both are reckoned as total payables. If these payables remains outstanding for a longer period, lesser will be the problem of working capital to the firm. But when the firm does not pay off its creditor within time, it may face difficulties in procuring further working capital. Therefore, it is essential to know in how many days a firm can pay off its creditors. This requires computation of creditors' turnover and average payment period or creditors' velocity. Creditors' turnover ratio shows the relationship between net credit purchase for the year and total payables, whereas average payment period or creditors' velocity signifies the credit period enjoyed by the firm in paying creditors. All of these are calculated by using the following formulas. Creditors or payable turnover. Net credit purchases divided by total or average payables, including creditors plus bills payable. Average payment period is calculated by total or average payable divided by net credit purchase into number of months or days in a year, or months or days in a year divided by creditors turnover. It can also be calculated by total or average payables divided by net credit purchases per day, and net credit purchases per day can also be calculated with net credit purchases divided by 365 or 360. Components. Credit purchases means all credit purchases of goods minus purchase returns. If information about credit purchases is not available, the figure of total purchases may be assumed to be credit purchases. Average payables refers to the one half of opening and closing balances of trade creditors, which includes sundry creditors and bills payable. If opening and closing balances of creditors are not known, the balance of creditors given may be taken to find out the ratio, but the amount of provision for discount on creditors will not be deducted from the amount of creditors. Its interpretation and significance. The creditors or payables turnover ratio indicates the number of times the creditors are turned over in relation to purchases. A high turnover ratio or shorter payment period shows the availability of less credit or early payments. This boosts up the credit worthiness of the firm. On the other hand, a low turnover ratio or longer payment period implies availability of more credit or delayed payments. Thus, the lower the ratio, the better is the liquidity position of the firm, and the higher the ratio, the lesser is the liquid position of the firm. For meaningful analysis, a comparative analysis of different firms in the same industry and the trend may be used for different years. This is it for today's lecture. Thank you so much